What's on your playlist right now?
Let's move into my class.
Go to guilty pleasure food.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Hi, my name is Marc Corfmat. I'm from Sunnyvale, California, and I'm a master's student studying mechanical engineering at UC Davis. I first came to Davis in 2019 to pursue my undergraduate degree and have been here since. I'm a researcher in the Advanced Research for Manufacturing Systems Lab, where I'm working on a project to improve the efficiency of metal additive manufacturing. Additionally, I serve as the peer advisor at UC Davis's Internship and Career Center, where I advise graduate students on resumes, interviewing, and much more. This year, LEGO released a Polaroid camera set based on my design, and I'm very proud to be able to represent UC Davis in the LEGO community.
Hey, Mark, welcome to Face to Face.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for agreeing to do it. You've got a pretty interesting hobby here.
Yeah.
And I see you brought a sample with you today. You want to show that to the audience and tell us about it?
Sure. Yeah. So this is the LEGO Ideas Polaroid one-step camera. So it was designed, I designed the project based on it, and LEGO chose it. They finalized the details, finalized the model, and here it is. And now you can buy it basically anywhere. I know at Davis, Target, they have it. So it's very fun to see it on shelves everywhere.
That's very cool. I think I was sharing with you when I was a kid, my parents actually had that Polaroid camera. So it brought back some memories when I saw yours. Can you tell us how you got the idea to do it and what's the story behind that?
Sure. Yeah. So I think a lot of the inspiration came from the people around me, right? So my sister, her name's Mia, she shoots lots of instant photography. And she has all those little Polaroids on her walls. So I've constantly been surrounded by Polaroids in the house. My great-grandfather also shot Polaroid. And so it's in all the albums, right? And then just hearing about pop culture, lots of people love Polaroids, lots of people shoot it. So as I'm constantly developing projects for LEGO Ideas, I had always had the Polaroid in the back of my head. And then finally, I started to put pieces together quite literally and develop the model. And I think it turned out pretty awesome. And it's been really successful ever since.
It did turn out awesome. It's an almost exact facsimile of what I remember that camera looking like. So that's pretty cool. Do you have other LEGO designs you have in mind, things you want to put together? Yeah.
So, I'm constantly, I publish lots of projects with my brother and I. And so we've done things from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I've tried to get something like Mr. Bean to 10,000 votes, and hopefully on store shelves. There's just lots of different ideas that I'm constantly churning out every other month or so. So yeah, constantly things going on.
Maybe a LEGO Chancellor.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. A LEGO UC Davis or something.
I couldn't compete with Mr. Bean, but you never know. Someone might like to see that. So you're a mechanical engineering master's student, that's correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about your interest in mechanical engineering. I'm sure it's related to LEGO, and tell us about the research you might be doing.
Right, yeah. So it's definitely related to LEGO, right? So ever since I was a kid, constantly building with pieces, using my creativity, hands-on to develop models and things like that. In high school, I was exposed to a robotics team, and so I joined the robotics team and their manufacturing role. So I was working on designing components for the robot. It's part of the first competition I'm sure you're aware of. And so it was really exciting to actually apply hands-on engineering skills, right? And so pursued that in college, and since then it's been awesome. Been in clubs like Space and Satellite Systems Club, Steel Bridge, which is a civil engineering, but engineering nonetheless. And yeah, so the research I'm currently doing is with the ARMS Lab, so Advanced Research for Manufacturing Systems. It's with Professor Soshi. And so the project I'm working on, or basically everyone is working on in that lab, is really the improvement of the directed energy deposition manufacturing system, which is basically metal 3D printing. So it's super fascinating stuff. I'm working on a specific part that involves thermal distributions in the components. So it's very exciting, and it's groundbreaking stuff. So hopefully in the coming years or decades, we'll have that technology.
3D printing technology is taking over manufacturing, and
exactly.
And I can't think of how many, or can't tell you how many thousands of engineering students like yourself had their first experience in the first robotics. It's really been a training ground for the engineers of the future in the country. So that's really a great program.
Yeah.
So you're going to finish your master's degree, or are you thinking about a Ph.D., or what's next after that?
Yeah, so I mean, as much as I love research, I definitely do want to go towards industry. So I am planning on wrapping up my master's this year, and then hopefully, going into either something related to biomedical engineering, or perhaps even like the toy industry. I think would be awesome to kind of like keep my creativity going with regards to engineering.
The toy industry would seem to be a natural fit for you.
Yeah.
Based on your career experience as an advisor at the Internship and Career Center, what is the most important advice you would give to upcoming engineers and other students like yourself about how they tune up their resume, how they get ready for the job market? That sort of thing?
So I think one of the biggest pieces of advice I have for like students in general, but also for students looking to like, getting hired, getting interviews, things like that, right? It's definitely like do your research in the sense of like understand what resources you have available to you. I unfortunately didn't really know about the ease of access of the Internship and Career Center until my junior year at UC Davis as an undergrad. So I think if I had known about the just how easy it is to get your documents reviewed, earlier in like freshman year, it would have been so much, it would have made looking for internships so much easier. So I think definitely being exposed to those resources, asking questions, asking around, seeing if there's anything that could help with any questions anyone has. But also, just know that you're not alone. Lots of students, I see hundreds of students who are having the same kind of issues and things like that. And it's really important to understand that lots of issues are being faced by so many other people. So it's really, there's resources there to help you. And we're definitely one of the resources out there and would love to help.
Well, it's great to hear the center is really having a positive impact for the students on campus.
100%.
Yeah, and we appreciate your being a part of that.
Thank you.
We have a little feature in Face-to-Face we call Hot Seat. And this is where I ask you some rapid-fire questions, and we're looking for like a one-word or one-sentence answer.
Sure.
You ready to?
Yeah, excited.
Ready to play? Okay. So here we go. Favorite LEGO design kit?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it's the Saturn V rocket. So it's also by LEGO Ideas. So another person also submitted a project based on it. Very awesome model.
Okay, interesting. Have you done that one?
I have that one.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Best place to study on campus?
To study on campus. I love nature. I love, just being outside. So I think studying outside, maybe in the Arboretum would be really nice.
Yeah, that's a popular answer.
Right.
If you could meet anyone, alive or not, who would it be and why?
Man, that's an interesting question. Let's see. I think it'd be, obviously it was nice to meet you, right? I think it would, maybe like doing a tour of the LEGO facility and meeting the people who actually designed the kit.
Yeah.
I did have like some Zoom meetings with a few of the designers, but I think like meeting them in person would be really awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best place to spend a summer vacation?
I love France.
Really?
I go there every other year. I love being there with family.
You speak French?
I do speak French. I'm also half Mexican, so I speak Spanish as well. And so Mexico's also on that list.
Nice, impressive. Okay. My favorite question on this part of the show, what is on the top of your playlist right now?
Yeah, so most recently, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. I know it's a very popular song, and usually I'm not like, the popular songs don't really matter too much to me, but this one made it on the list. My girlfriend showed it to me, and I've loved it ever since.
Okay.
It's been,
girlfriends can be influential.
Exactly.
Okay, now it's your turn. You can ask me a few questions.
Yeah, so I know you are an engineer, right? And I was just wondering, how did your like exposure to things like Lego and Star Trek really influence your path towards engineering?
Those things were really big. I would have to say between Lego and erector sets when I was really young, and then later Star Trek and comic books, believe it or not, as I got older, and I still collect comics, were very influential in my decision to think about how science and engineering can be a factor in improving the quality of life, and that's sort of what led me to engineering.
Awesome. Yeah, and then I guess on that same like pop culture question, I know you're a big Trekkie. I'm not. I'm a big Star Wars fan,
Okay.
so I'd like to kind of get your thoughts as to whether, what do you think about the like rivalry, quote unquote, between Star Trek and Star Wars, and could you maybe convince me to take a peek at some Star Trek stuff.
Several years ago, I was in an article that was sort of taking a side in the rivalry. I was representing Star Trek. One of my colleagues represented Star Wars. I actually like Star Wars as well. I don't think you have to pick a side. They're kind of different genres. Star Wars is probably more aptly described as fantasy rather than science fiction. Star Trek is more hardcore science fiction, although that's a very blurry line. So I'm not saying that's a easy black or white decision between the two. But I think you can like both. I don't think there's any reason why you have to prefer one over the other. And I enjoy reading both sets of books. I enjoy watching the movies in each category. And so I would say just dip your toe in the water in Star Trek, and I think you'll like it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think I'll take a look. I think there's just so much to Star Trek. I think my roommate is also a big fan, so maybe I'll ask it for some pointers. And then finally, so I'm a career advisor at the ICC, right? Like we talked about. I constantly deal with students unsure as to whether to pursue like a PhD or not. And I know you have pursued your PhD. So I was just kind of wondering what were your like, kind of like, why did you choose to pursue a PhD?
I had some really good mentors when I was an undergraduate who said it would be good for me to pursue an advanced degree. I had some work experiences where I noticed that the people in the decision-making roles at the companies where I worked all had advanced degrees. And lastly, I was able to get a fellowship that paid for it. So I think you're never more prepared than you are right now to go ahead and pursue your studies. So I would tell students who are undergrads, if you're thinking about it, don't wait. I mean, I think, you certainly could, try to come back later in your career and get your master's and PhD, but, life has a way of interceding. You start having bills and families and other things that kind of could be obstacles, and you're probably no better mentally prepared than you are as you're finishing your undergraduate career to go on to get a master's and a PhD.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, thanks for the questions, though. Those were all really good questions, and it was fun answering them and fun talking to you and hearing about the LEGO models you're building. And I thank everyone for watching. We will see you next time on Face to Face. Go Ags.